Okay guys, we're going to do something a little different here today. We're doing a weed eater restoration with some nice fresh spray paint. This is a Husqvarna weed eater. This is a big one. This is a 535 35cc. Certainly worth saving. It's actually in, other than looking terrible, it's in pretty good shape. Hasn't been used a lot, but it's done a lot of sitting around, and it rides along on my lawn trailer and gets beat to death by the sun, as you can see. Like for example, this entire, the whole top of it in between those gray areas and this whole recoil assembly is supposed to be orange. Husqvarna orange. You can see a little remnant of the orange under there. The sun just destroyed this. As well as the gray parts that are supposed to be gray are supposed to be grayer. And so we're going to be pulling it all apart. As a result of sitting too long, it also doesn't run, but I know it will run. And we're going to get it back in working condition and a nicer appearance. So what we've done is we've gotten some spray paint. I looked online for Husqvarna orange, and they were recommending the Rustoleum real orange. And so we're going to do that, and then I just went with the closest shade of gray that I could see to Husqvarna gray, and we have that as well. And we'll be putting a lot of coats on there. I'm going to take it all apart so that we can spray it properly, and at the same time we're also going to be getting it running again, so I got some things for it. The new air filter, and there's the brand new primer bulb. So the system is compromised because, as you can see here, that primer bulb is ruptured. So you can't even prime it. And at the same time, I expect there to be some dried up residue in the carburetor. So we got a whole carburetor rebuild kit. And the best part of it all, we got a brand new sticker. This is a 535 LS. And I actually was able to get the sticker. And that's going to go right here, so that it can be identified properly. So anyway, first thing is take it all apart, clean the parts up, and start spray painting. Okay, so now we have removed all the body parts, all the cladding that goes on the weed eater so that we can paint them. And if you ever wonder what does a weed eater look like with all that stuff removed, well, here's a look at it. That's the recoil that catches the rope in the spiral there. If you look at here, wow, the air filter, the old air filter is all falling apart and all crammed in there. I swear part of it went down the chute. I think it got sucked in. That's no good at all. And then over here is the exhaust. And all that is protected by all these panels. But look at this. This is just amazing to me. This looks like two orange pieces, but that is where the recoil was mounted on there, protecting it from the sun. And there is not a separate part there when you see the difference in the colors. It's all one piece. An example of why we're painting it. My goodness. The sun did a number on this. And if you look at here, you can see all that fiberglass in the plastic to strengthen it. And so that's part of what, when we wash these, you're going to have to really scrub them to get all that loose fiberglass off, otherwise it's going to look terrible. And basically that's what we're going to do here next, is wash these parts really good in dish soap, strong grease cutter, because that's not going to be good for the painting part of it. So I'll wash all these parts and we'll get ready to spray paint them, and then we'll spray paint them. Okay, now I have the parts all washed off and ready to be painted, and I've separated the one piece where did it go? That piece there had the little side piece for the carburetor, and I took that off right there. because it's painted a different color. So let's set them up and start painting. Okay, we've got the pieces painted now, so let's take a look. Most of them came out nice and shiny. There's a lot of coats of paint on there because it kept soaking it up. I think there's probably 5 coats of paint on these pieces. And even that didn't quite do it completely. As you can see, this piece is still a little bit dull. But the orange did better. Can't remember if I mentioned that middle sticker I failed to order, so I may leave it like that, and I may order the sticker on a future order. But of course you mask off things like the handle with tape. Right here, look at the difference here now. There is no difference. Everything all the same color. And then there were some pieces I did not take off. I just masked them separately. Masked the orange to paint the gray and masked the gray to paint the orange. And I ended up putting a grocery bag over the whole engine to get it separated. And you know, I put some masking on the identification tag there so that I would still have access to the numbers. Now the next step is to clean off this engine with air compressor and a blowgun, because it's a mess. And then we'll pull off that carburetor and see what the deal is with it and rebuild it. So I guess that will probably be the next scene. See you there. Okay, so we're moving right along. I've got the carburetor completely off, and we're going to be replacing all these fuel lines, and everything is all crumbling, and that's probably a big part of the problem of why it's not running. Now over here I've got the carburetor apart. We'll take a close look for anybody who's curious what goes on in these. Let me see what I can, I'm sorry it's shaking. So basically your throttle controls this little springy thing, and your pin is right down in there, and I'll take that apart to see if that's clogged. But overall everything looks pretty good in here, and I don't think so. Sometimes you'll see the diaphragm will be ripped. This is kind of your fuel pump, and these have to be very elastic and or not ripped or deteriorated, because these are like little valves, little flap valves that as the piston's going up, that gets sucked down onto things and pulled up, and those have to be able to move. But normally when you open one of these up, you will find, if something's not running, you'll find a whole bunch of residue in here that's clogging all these little tiny passages and so on. Flip it over. But this one looks nice and clean, which is good. What I'll do is I'll spray some carburetor cleaner down all those little passages anyway, since it's all apart. And since I happen to have the new repair kit, I will put all the brand new parts on, so I will know that everything is brand new from this point forward. And that's it from the technical part. We'll put it back together next and look more at the pretty parts. Okay, so here we go. We're getting ready for final assembly. As you can see, I've got the carburetor back on and hooked up, and all new fuel lines, new grommets, new primer bulb, and about to put on the brand new air filter, and all the parts that have been painted and prepared, ready to go on. And then the last thing will be the sticker, which came off years ago. And here we go, final assembly. Okay, and there we go. It is done. Even got the sticker on there. And so I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. I mean, it's not perfect. Of course it's not perfect. But it's much better than it was. I know what you're thinking. You should have painted the gas cap. And you should have gotten a sticker on the back. I will get the sticker for the back on the next order. But there we go. All set and ready to run. It's kind of funny, the string advanced. And this thing is so strong that it will actually turn it with them sticking way out like that. And I'll show that in a second. And it did start right up, so we have success. And I will just close this out, running it for the first time in a while. So appreciate you watching.